This is one of the weirdest things I think Cloud9 has ever done, and it should be talked about more. Last year, during the final existing season of the LCS, Cloud9, the team that jojo was on, lost to 100 Thieves in the playoffs, despite finishing in the regular season as a second place team. They didn't manage to make it to Worlds, and some changes were made in the team. Jojo and Berserker both left the team. But here comes the weird part. After jojo left the team, I Will Dominate made a video on him. And it was definitely not a very flattering video. It was actually a video solely to promote hate on jojo and shed a negative light on him. In the video, he just says that a team manager from Cloud9 told him that jojo was late 43 times in the entire year. There would be for practice, scrims, team meetings, etc. He doesn't even know, basically. And that video came out basically right as Cloud9 dropped him. First of all, who in the world is keeping track of that? Why is anybody, or a team manager or any member from Cloud9 management keeping a track of how many times a person is tardy? And instead of correcting him or doing anything about it, they just keep recording how many times he's tardy? Okay guys, let's not address the issue and instead let's just keep recording it. You know what that reeks of? It reeks of complete immaturity. Whoever did that was jojo, I think obviously has some issues. In a team setting, you want to be able to freely talk about what problems you have with a player or your coworkers, right? Clearly that did not happen here. Instead of talking to jojo about the problem he had with him, about being tardy and all, he decided to instead record every time he was late or tardy. And then after the season ends, he releases out to a third party just purely to ruin his reputation. And this is during his most important time, by the way, where he's trying to find a new team to join. Thank God he managed to find a team in Europe. Mad Lions. Thank you, Mad Lions, for recruiting jojo. I really appreciate it, or else he would have been left teamless or in any other bottom feeding team in this shithole organization called the LTA. Is organization the right word? Or it's called a league, my bad. Anyways, look at how jojo is doing now on Mad Lions compared to how he did on Cloud9. He's won the entire spring split. Although Mad Lions didn't have a good showing at Worlds, he's still playing in a league that has more viewers and is winning domestically in that region, which I am very, very happy about. Another thing that I hated was how the fans were completely buying it and eating it up, casting blame onto jojo and not even questioning the authenticity or the source of this information. If you watch the games at all or have any idea of how League of Legends functions, it's clear that jojo wasn't the main issue, and it was more of a whole team play issue overall. And a good way to judge a person's skill, character, or anything like that is their history, right? Pian has been an extremely strong mid laner for Evil Geniuses in the past, and he was constantly labeled as the best mid laner in NA for multiple years, gaining the respect of international players such as Chovy, Faker, and other Korean players. This was mentioned during their scrims in Korea, so you guys know I'm not just making this up. Or was it in Europe? I'm forgetting. But he was international, and I remember him playing Singed mid, and everybody in the scrim enjoying it. Oh wait, now I remember. It wasn't a scrim. It was actually the pro player only queue that they set up in somewhere. Europe? I think? Maybe? Anyways, you get the idea. He has an extremely good reputation and history, and someone like that doesn't just go on to an organization like Cell9 and just completely shit the bed. It's actually so stupid how easily people were buying into this idea and this narrative that jojo was such a bad teammate and how he didn't care when he obviously does care. But I imagine with such a toxic environment like that, he would have difficulty fitting in. Especially with someone who doesn't address issues, lacks communication skills, and just talks behind their back and releases damaging reputational information like this. There was other problems that arose that year, which I'd like to mention now, that I recall. During one of the Cloud9 documentaries, Berserker was crying and punching a wall because he didn't think that Jojo Pian was trying during his scrims, because he was limit testing during them. If someone is known to be good and the way they practice during scrims is limit testing to the max and trying different new things, and you're discouraging him from that doesn't really make sense. I'd imagine that Jojo Pian would know what works for him to be successful and improve himself on a team and individual level. Second of all, this VOD and game review, or this entire vlog, this video that came out, was released after he got 2v2 killed bot lane twice in a row during that weekend by a rookie ADC, Masu Busio, which luckily for him turned out to be one of the better bot lanes in the league. But at the time, they were complete noobs, just rookies new to the scene and everything. And you're getting 2v2 killed twice in lane by that? And you have the audacity to go and complain about someone else? That just doesn't make sense. Of course, there are a lot of nuances here, such as the timeline of the vlog, of the team vlog, and the game's not matching up. Who knows when they recorded what? Who knows when they released what? Is it fair to be frustrated? Is it not fair to be frustrated by that kind of thing? Although I do respect Berserker's effort and how much he cares, maybe some of what he cared about was misplaced and misguided. Another thing that I found a little weird was Vulcan saying that he shouldn't refer to Faker as Faker in game, and to say that he's Rise to not put Faker on like a pedestal. I can't imagine how that would hinder your gameplay during the game. That's just a really odd way to look at things, in my opinion, of course, but it kind of makes sense, but not really. He was saying that he didn't want to put Faker on a pedestal so that there would be like some mental block, but I can't imagine that would do anything significant to change that. If you're playing against Faker, you're playing against Faker. If you're putting him on a pedestal, that's on you. It doesn't matter what you call him. It doesn't matter if you call him Rise in game, 8th Rise, Azir, Faker. Doesn't matter. You're playing a team game. You're playing League of Legends. What you call someone doesn't matter. So already, a lot of what these players on Cloud9 are saying in their vlog just don't make any sense to me, honestly. And these guys are the ones that are JoJo's teammates and interacting with them. And possibly even are the ones that are secretly went behind someone's back and recording him being tardy, right? Just throughout these interactions, I can see why C9 failed that year. They obviously had a lot of butting opinions on an individual level, and that probably swept its way into the in-game level as well. As a player in that team, I would imagine that it would be extremely suffocating to try to get an opinion across when the players on your team are worrying about people calling people faker, or people worried about other people not taking scrims seriously despite playing horribly on an individual level, them kicking Fudge despite him obviously not being the issue. There were also a lot of draft problems. It was all really, really bad. Anyways, I feel like that was one of the most petty things C9 has ever done in their LCS career, or one of the weirdest things that C9 has ever done as an organization. But I respect Jack, the owner. I don't think C9's a fundamentally bad org. I think they just had something pretty toxic during that year that needed to be resolved, but obviously couldn't be. Anyways, the third party reporter was I Will Dominate, and he was the one that reported on JoJo being apparently very tardy, and now he's in the exact organization that told him that JoJo was tardy, which is a little weird. I like I Will Dominate. I watch him a lot, but this was one of the things that I wish he could explain. But I know he probably won't, and it probably wouldn't be worth addressing this. JoJo's obviously in a better place now, where he has teammates that respect him, take his opinion seriously. He's obviously is able to flourish and work in a team environment that is open to how he plays and his ideas. And it obviously shows. And I'm glad that he has that success. And that he proved everybody wrong, everybody who called him lazy, everybody who turned on him once this narrative was made out, just proved them all wrong. And won the EU domestic trophy. Anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope this wasn't too long or too... And if you guys have any thoughts or opinions, you either agree with me or disagree with me, just leave a comment and tell me. Thanks, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next one.